Hi, everyone. Welcome to our first community webinar. It's a new series where community members sharing the ideas, experience, some hacks that are working for them. So we're supposed to keep it close, nice, open conversations for all party friends, users, partners, and I know it's all about AI recently, but I feel like our first session is going to be on the opposite end of the spectrum. It's about humans, specifically how all of us can cope in a world where everyone is constantly multitasking. And I feel like no matter how much AI ends up around us, we're still human with our emotions, habits, and all the rest. So I feel like that topic never goes out of fashion. But we also have the second objective, actually to show how Partha can work as the kind of friend of yours for live sessions. Because earlier this year, we released like MCP functionality, so all the Partha content can be present, not just in your academies, LMSs, but also in-app, in the community, etc. But many of you have been asking like how we can still kind of deliver like PDFs and PowerPoints with Sparta content to the folks who deliver the instructor-led trainings. And we increasingly started seeing that people actually don't do this anymore. They just use Sparta to deliver the live sessions. And actually, the first person I know personally who started doing this is Kate. So I was thinking like maybe we can just achieve these two objectives to share something useful for you, but at the same time to show how Partha can be part of this experience. So, Kate, floor is yours. Go for it.
Go for it. Well, thank you, Andrew. So, hi, everyone, wherever you are in the world. Good morning or good evening to you. Well, Claire, good night, I guess. For you, it's midnight for you. Thank you so much, Andrew, for this opportunity. But also, I just wanted to say thank you to Partha team overall, because you gave me an amazing tool that allows me to create super engaging online content, learning content, but also engaging workshops. And hopefully, this is something that I can show you today. How am I using Partha for live webinars, live workshops? I've incorporated different elements that I usually use. And what I'm going to share today with you is literally bits and pieces from some of the workshops that I deliver to big corporations where I help leaders to make better decisions so that they free up time from unnecessary work for work that they are proud of, but also they don't overwork and have time for what matters to them and people they love and what they love after work. So, as Andrew said, two objectives, right? So, one, hopefully you will take away something with you today in terms of unlearning multitasking. And then the second part, you'll see how actually Partha can be used for live workshops. So, but I want to start with a question, okay? So, put in the chat, yes or no, do you multitask? Do you actually multitask? Yes, 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 yes. No. Oh, Kendra, you are amazing. I pretend to. Okay, I see a few yeses. Attempt to. Okay, fantastic. So, I have a second question for you. For those of you who multitask, do you consider it your strength? Do you think you're good at multitasking? Is that your strength? Are you a confident multitasker? Is that a strength? Yes or no? Just put it again in the chat. We'll see who is a confident one. No, yes, I hope. Oops, not necessarily a strength. Yes, but I don't like to do it. Yes, Maria is a confident one. Okay, let's see. So, survival tactic, good one. Yes. So, here's what we're going to do. We are going to actually test your multitasking abilities now. Okay. And I do this test and I do exactly the same workshop for different companies. I actually did today two workshops on Partha, one for Cartier and one for Tetra Pak. Okay. So, I do the same exact test to all of them. So, here's what you're going to need for the test three things. Okay. I'm sure you have the third one with you, but for the first two, not sure. So, first, piece of paper, blank piece of paper. Second, a pen. And third, Your phone, technology, right? So you have your phone. Just give me a thumbs up whenever you have that. Just put it in the chat. Just I want to make sure that everyone has these three things before we begin. Okay, got it. Thank you. Yes, got them. Yes, fantastic. Okay. Yes, yes. All set. Wonderful. Okay, so first thing first, you will have to open your stopwatch. Okay, and make sure that it is reset because you're going to time yourself. Okay, so the exercise has 3 steps. I'm going to guide you through every single one of them. They are super, super simple, so not to worry. Okay, so first step, you have your stopwatch. When you start doing the task that I'm going to explain in a second, you start your stopwatch and then you click stop when you're done and take note of the time it took you to complete this task. Here's this task. You're going to write English alphabet from A to Z, and as soon as you're done, you're going to write numbers from 1 to 26. Don't start yet. I'll give you the green light. I'm just going to drop in the chat literally how it's going to look like, okay? So it looks like this. A, B, C, D, Z, and then you start right away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 26. You stop the timer when you're done. You take note of how much time it took you. Whenever you're ready, go. It's not a competition unless you want to make it one, but so you can put your numbers in the chat, but it's not a competition, okay? We're friends, right? So we're not competing, we're just learning from each other. So whenever you're ready, we're moving to step 2, okay? So same thing, you have your stopwatch, make sure that you reset it. So you start from 0 again. You're going to do the same thing here. You're going to time yourself. So before you start the task, make sure that you start your stopwatch and end it, stop it when you're done with the task. We're going to do this same task, but slightly differently, okay? Here's what you're going to do. You're still going to write alphabet and numbers, but this time you're going to write 1 letter, 1 number, 1 letter, 1 number. So here's how it's going to look like. I'm going to put it in the chat. And don't do it before I tell you so, please. Okay, because there is one more thing that I need to tell you. So it's going to be A1, B2, C3 until the end, Z26. Before you start doing it, flip your piece of paper so you start again with a blank piece of paper. And whenever you're ready, go ahead. Put your number or just give me a thumbs up when you're done. Wonderful. So I'm just going to wait for a few more people. 42. Marley, Andrew, did you partner up? Or
I
maybe?
mean, for quite some time, I have to say.
Claire, yes. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so third step and the last one. Okay, So you only need your phone now. Don't forget your numbers, okay? Take note of them. So all you need is your calculator now. So you're going to use a calculator, okay? Calculator. I'm going to put, it's a math formula, not a complicated one, but I'm dropping it in the chat so that you have the exact formula and also the example on how to do it. But I'm pretty sure you already know where I'm going with it. Okay, so you have to take the time that it took you to do the first step, you deduct the time, the second step, you divide the result by the time from the first step, you multiply by 100, and you'll get either a positive or a negative percentage. Okay, so you'll get either a positive or a negative percentage. Okay, yes, Medea. So I also posted it in the chat. You can see there as well the formula with an example. So you take first the time that it took you to complete the first step. Then you deduct the time that it took you to complete the second step. And then you divide that result by the time of the first step again. Oh, you don't see the message in the chat?
I think you posted just for host and panelist. I can just do it again.
Ah, okay, sorry.
Yeah, I just did like.
Ah, you reposted it? Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so now you see, does everyone see it? So I think it's easier when you see it, right? Okay, let's see the results. If you want to drop them in the chat, again, not a competition, but a bit of awareness exercise, hopefully. Minus 20.6. Yes. Minus 19.8. Does anyone have a positive one? Does anyone have a positive percentage? I would be curious. Minus 17. Okay, so I hope that you now know where we're actually going with that, right? So in the first step, what did you do? You monotasked. You focus on one thing at a time. And in the second step, what did you do? You multitasked. You did two things at the same time. And as a result, as you can see, most of the time we believe that multitasking actually helps us be faster. That's why we're trying to multitask. But in reality, it slows you down. And you can see your own percentages here. And I will show you what the studies say in a second. And also a few additional facts about multitasking that hopefully will help you to start rethinking on how you work and maybe slow down when you actually start multitasking. So research says, and that's why I ask if there is anyone who has a positive percentage, because there are only 2% of truly skillful multitaskers in the world. So if we don't have anyone with a positive percentage, it means that we don't have a maverick in the room. I learned this exercise from one of my colleagues, actually my former colleagues when I was working at IWC Schaffhausen. And I said to him that I thought that I was a very skillful multitasker. So, and here's the thing, to his surprise, I was actually, because I got a positive percentage, but he didn't do something. He didn't ask me to flip the paper. And so if you want to do this test with your team, don't forget to ask them to flip the paper, because when you see the figures, it's way easier because you don't have to pull them out of your mind anymore. Okay, that's just a tip for you. But now let me share my screen, just making sure that everyone sees my screen. You all do?
Perfect.
All good? Okay, fantastic. So there is one thing that I want you to take away with you about multitasking, and that is a slippery slope. That's all it is. It's a slippery slope. And we live in a very, very distracted world. We live in a world that is constantly pushing us to do more and go faster. And that's why we think multitasking is just a norm, because everybody does so. But what you've learned, hopefully through this test, is that multitasking is not helping us to move faster. multitasking actually slows us down. On average, research says that it slows us down by 40%, but you have your own number, right? You were not competing against anyone. And even if sometimes English is not your mother tongue, which it is not, you are competing and you are actually comparing yourself against yourself, nothing else. But there is a few more things that multitasking does to us. Two more. Let me ask you a question. Did any one of you make a mistake in the second step? Did you maybe miss a letter or a number? Anyone? No? Yes? Let me just check the chat quickly. Yes. Okay. So here's the thing. Sometimes what I get as a feedback, especially when I do it live, this test, people say to me, well, Kate, are you sure there are 26 letters? It's 24, right? And so why does that happen? Well, because multitasking, we can make twice as many mistakes as when in comparison when we monotask. Because multitasking takes away our focus. And it takes us about 23 to 25 minutes to refocus every single time. And that also means that we drain our energy even more when we multitask. But if there is one fact that I want you to remember about multitasking is this third one, okay? And to explain it, I'd like to invite you to the gym. Have you ever been to the gym? Yes, no? Yes, I see Andrew, yes. We've all been to the gym, hopefully at least once, right? So think about you going to the gym, you arrive there, you go to your usual machine, you normally put about 20 kilos on that machine, but today you feel ambitious. You say, what if I put 35? I can go, I can get there, I can get to my goal faster. And you put 35 kilos and you start lifting. What does your muscle do? What happens to your muscle? What do you feel in that moment? Put just one word in the chat. What do you feel? Is it easy? What does your body do? Tired? Resistance. Yes. Overwhelmed. Resistance. That's a perfect word, Elena. Resistance, right? Because what does your body try to do? It tries to protect you from the injury. Well, when you multitask, the exact same thing happens in your brain. You just don't feel it. But in reality, your brain is trying to protect you. So it actually shrinks. And when it shrinks, it actually reduces your intelligence. And every time you multitask, you can lose up to 10 IQ points. That means that when we multitask, we are less creative, we are less innovative, we are less analytical. Okay, so these are the three key things that happen to us when we multitask. And because of it, because we multitask every single day, because we are constantly rushing to achieve our tasks, our days oftentimes look like this. So we are ready to start our day. We know the important thing that we're going to get done, but then we just go into emails and we start browsing, and then we go to a meeting and we spend more time in a meeting, more meeting. And then we go back in the inbox while we are in the meeting, and then we chat in a meeting in more chats, etc. Right? And so all our day just goes like that. Does that sound familiar in any way? Yes? Okay. Good. I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. I hate emails so much. Well, I understand. So, but here is the reason why we actually multitask, because there are three things that we believe. Okay, and I also want to share with you a little bit of science after that, but let's just test these beliefs a little bit. Tell me, we're gonna play a little tiny true or false game, okay? Just three questions. When we do more, we achieve more. Is that the belief that we have today? Is that true or false? 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 It is actually, it is in reality, it is false, but many people still believe that it's true, because we're still aiming every day for more. Why do you multitask? Because you want to get more things done, right? You want to go faster. Let's test the second belief. We can focus on multiple things at the same time. Is that our belief, yes or no? True or false? My for sure. False. Well, it's actually false, but in reality, we multitask, especially in meetings, because we think that we can hear what's happening in the meeting and we can write our emails at the same time, right? And then the last one, when we are busy, we are productive. Is that our belief? True or false? Really? So false. Okay, so this one is true. We believe actually that is true, but to be honest, I'm just putting a little bit of a bracket here, okay? Busy is not productivity, but to be productive, we kind of need to get busy, right? Just food for thought here. But these are just three fundamental beliefs that make us multitask every day. But I want to share a little bit of science behind it, okay? Just for you to understand why we do have certain beliefs and why we multitask. So the number one belief that we have about busyness, that busyness is something that we don't like. It's something that is bad, something that we want to escape. But in reality, what happens is that we just love being busy, because every time we're in a meeting and we feel bored, what do? We jump into our inbox because we're bored. These things are irrelevant. So we just want to do something, right? And that's, in psychology, is called action bias. We really don't like inactivity. I don't know if there are any Italians here, but have you ever heard the expression dolce far niente, the pleasure of doing absolutely nothing? When was the last time that you actually did absolutely nothing? Sleeping is doing, meditating is doing, cooking is doing, we're always doing something. So in reality, we try to escape busyness, but it's always there. We just actually need to learn how to be busy in a good way with the right things. The second science behind the belief of the focus, right? So we think actually we can focus on multiple things at the same time. But the reality is that we actually can't focus on the same things at the same time. Because let me just ask you this. In a meeting, how much time do you actually have before people start zooming out? How much time do you have in a meeting before people start zooming out? 30 seconds. 20 seconds. Oh, guys, we've been talking together for about 20 minutes. Are you still here? Because if it's 30 seconds, I literally lost you in the very, very beginning. So in reality, it's 9.59 seconds. So it's about 10 minutes, okay? And then people just start paying attention to all the things. So that's, in psychology, is called attention bias. We actually think that we are noticing everything, but in reality, we only notice what we focus on. So if you are multitasking, you're much more likely to make mistakes because, again, you're losing your focus. And then the third fundamental belief that we have, we still believe that doing more actually helps us achieve more. And in psychology, it is called the paradox of choice. But in reality, more just spreads our resources too thin. Just look at the results that you had in the test, right? So you become slower because you actually create a lot of tension happening inside and you're using much more of energy. And energy is your number one resource when it comes to personal productivity. So I want to share with you the fundamental belief, my belief, when it comes to busyness and multitasking. Busy is human, but what you're busy with and how you're busy with is a choice. Remember that we always have a choice if we are acting when we're seeing that interruption coming our way. Maybe it's a Slack message or a Teams message, whatever you work with, or we decide not to act and keep on focusing on the task that we were busy with. Now, if you don't want to feel like this in your meetings, because multitasking makes you feel like that, or like this at the end of the day, there are a few ways and 3 tips that I'm going to share with you so that you can actually monotask and keep your focus and you don't feel like this and you don't feel drained at the end of the day. So you have energy for things that matter to you. I truly believe everyone has the multitasking monster because as long as you're human, you are going to multitask. But it's not about removing it completely. We live in a very digital world. We need to switch tabs. It's about being mindful when we are adding extra multitasking that is not really serving us. So the tips that I'm going to share with you are quite simple. They are not something probably new, but just I will help you to understand why they potentially could work. Number one, ask more questions. Whether you are in a meeting or you're actually doing focus work, ask more questions. We live in a very telling world. Let me ask you this. How many of you have kids? Anyone has kids? Raise your hand. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So if you think about talking with a child, okay, with a kid, or maybe kids talking to each other, what is the percentage of questions in their conversation? 200%, Simon. Yes, exactly. Now I bring you back to a normal meeting room, just a normal meeting room. What is the percentage of questions in a normal meeting room? 2, 10, less than 20%. So here's the thing, we don't actually have enough conversations. And because of it, a lot of things seem irrelevant. Because of it, we assume many things. And because of it, so many things land on our to-do list. The same thing when you get an interruption, for example, again, a Slack message that somebody asks you, can you please take care of this? Well, ask yourself a question, what if I didn't do it right now? What's the worst that can happen? What questions do, they simply help you to say yes more slowly. And what you need to tame your multitasking monster is sometimes to slow down. The second tip is, well, again, Andrew mentioned in the very beginning, AI, 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 AI. And so we're all trying to use, optimize our day with AI, especially when it comes to taking notes, even thinking. We use AI instead of pen and paper. But what science proved many, many years ago, and it's still relevant today, is that technology evolves every second, but our human algorithm, our human operational system doesn't. So when you are actually taking paper notes, what's happening in your brain, every single part of your brain is lit up. It's activated. In that moment, you are the most creative, the most innovative, the most analytical. So it means that in that moment, your focus is at the sharpest level. You're paying the most attention in the moment. It means that you're going to spot better communication gaps that are happening in the meeting, maybe gaps in your own presentation, the work that you are doing. You're also remembering better whatever you're working with. So I know that it sounds very old school, but sometimes old school things work. So I do invite you once in a while to try it again and see how it impacts your multitasking. And then the tip number 3, work with your energy. I love old school, me too. Work with your energy levels. So to explain this, I'm going to introduce you to a very little exercise. Usually in a workshop, I'll give about 10 to 15 minutes to do the exercise. Well, for you, I'm just going to give you 2 or 3, if that's okay, because we don't have a lot of time. But you can take this exercise with you, and I wanted you to have something tangible that you can actually use so that you can tame your multitasking monster better. So you'll need, again, a piece of paper, but if you have your computer in front of you, you can use your calendar as well. That works. Just open a completely blank week, and that will work as well. So this exercise is called mapping your energy. You will have to map your energy in 3 different blocks, okay? The first block is all about your high power mode. When your energy is really, really high, when it's easy for you to enter in the flow mode, you don't really feel the interruptions. Most of us believe that it's 8 hours a day. Well, I'm going to disappoint you here. It's 2 to 4 hours a day maximum, okay? And then the second block is your medium power mode, is when you still can focus, but it requires more effort and you're more likely to get distracted, okay? And the third mode is low power mode. Focus is wobbly, you are likely to procrastinate, easily to get distracted. Okay, and what you'll get at the end is the map of your energy, and that will allow you in the future to plan your tasks better. The most important thing for you is to learn to protect these green blocks, because this is where your focus is at sharpest, and this is where you can do your best work. So make sure that those blocks, whenever you can, don't necessarily go for email work or admin tasks or maybe some unnecessary meetings as well. So I'm going to give you just maybe 2 minutes. Try to come up with something, but take this exercise with you. What you see here is actually my energy map. Okay, it's just to give you an idea of how it could look like. It doesn't need to look like mine. You can have yours, but we just need sometimes to spend a little bit more time to just reflect on it. So I think, Andrew, is it okay if we give 2 minutes, or otherwise I can just move on? I think I have 2 or 3 more minutes left.
I think maybe let's move on. I know like probably
Sounds
some
good.
folks have not planned for like extra a lot more
No,
minutes.
no, no problem. So again, productivity is a game of decisions and multitasking is a choice. You can tame your multitasking monster. And every time you catch yourself multitasking, just remember slowly is the fastest way to get to where you want to be. And to demo that, I'm going to end with a little video that I show in many of my workshops that every participant loves. And I hope you love it too. So it is actually a simulation. It's an ultra marathon of 100 kilometers, and there are 8 participants. I'm going to put these 8 participants in the chat. So Andrew, I'm only allowed to send actually messages to host and panelists or you. So that's why I'm sending it, so you can copy it again so everyone can see it, please.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, perfect. So these are the participants of this ultra marathon, okay? You can put the bets of who do you think will win? Who will win an ultra marathon? Just put your bets in the chat and I'll actually start the video. It's about 2 minutes video. There is a sound, but it's not important. So if you don't hear it, it's absolutely okay. Okay, but and remember that you can change your bets too. Camel. Camel is a popular one. Remember, you can change your bets. Horse, stamina, yes. I showed this video also when I do a guest lecture at Singapore University, and the students love it. There's a lot of betting going on. I always say that I probably need to introduce some money at a certain point to make it more fun. So we have camel, camel, camel. Andrew believes in humans. Ashley says horse. Anyone else? Anyone else is betting?
Probably somewhere in the Slack already. You showed us like 20 minutes.
Probably, yes. Probably we lost some people to Slack. Yes. It's hard to compete with Slack. Cheetah, but this makes sense. Okay, Rose. Just a few seconds left, a few more kilometers left. Just for you to know, this is a camel is making a comeback. Yes. The Brain Maze is behind this video, and I do collaborate with them. So they are fantastic in developing interesting visuals.
Yeah, Elena's saying this is the Forrest Gump.
He is, yeah, or she is. Forresta Gump. Well, I really, really hope that you've learned something that when we actually do not speed like cheetah, but we actually pace ourselves, we can go much, much further.
Yay, humans.
Humans, yes. So that's it for me today. I really hope that it was useful and also insightful at the same time. And happy to stay. Whoever has any questions about how to use Parta live or anything else, I'm happy to answer.
So we happy to have Kate in the community. So feel free to drop questions, ideas, thoughts, feedback. But Kate, thank you so much. At least
You're
you
welcome.
got my attention, which is not
Good.
very easy. So I have to admit that was, and also kind of I love how this is the first time I saw Party in action for live session. I enjoyed it. Of course, I'm biased, but I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, everybody who joined us today. Again, we'll share the recording in the community. Feel free to share. Otherwise, everybody have a great rest of your day, beginning of your day, or good night. We have like Philippine head as well. Thanks, guys. Have a great one. Bye bye.
Take care. Thank you. Bye.